So I'm aimlessly scrolling through my social media this morning and I stumble on this picture here as a confirmed cameo in the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie. Let's talk about this today here in my Geek Corner. Hey there everyone, it's RevKev. Welcome back to my Geek Corner channel. So appreciate you being a part of the community here. All the proceeds I make from YouTube go to support kids in Guatemala. You can learn more about that in the description below. So this picture right here, if you're not a child of the 80s, you have no clue what this is. But these are the characters from the Dungeons and Dragons Saturday morning animated cartoon, who, according to this Facebook post I stumbled on this morning, is a confirmed cameo in the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie. Now, this for me creates an interesting conversation. Now, whether this is real or not, we'll find out when the movie comes out in a few weeks. But this for me represents some of the tension that I'm seeing in the online conversations about this upcoming movie. There seems to be two different groups of people. One group of people want D&D to be like this high fantasy series, similar to like the Lord of the Rings or the Game of Thrones. Like, they just want it to be serious. They want it to be like high, top quality fantasy stories. The other group of people want it to just be fun because, after all, it's based on a game and the game is fun. So they just want it to have this feel of it being a game. And this is what I find fascinating about this picture here, about these characters. Again, if you're not familiar with the Saturday morning cartoon, the way that these characters ended up in the Dungeons and Dragons world is they went on a carnival ride in our world, and you get no hint whatsoever that any of them play Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe the youngest one, Bobby, who's the barbarian, maybe he sounds like he's the only one who's familiar with Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone else is just a group of teenagers that are hanging out at a carnival and they go into the ride because they think it's cool, and then they get sucked in to the D&D world, and then they have to face all these villains and all these monsters, and there's a dungeon master who comes along to help guide them on their adventures to find their way back home. And for me, this is actually a brilliant way to accomplish both camps, where you can have the high fantasy world, a very serious world, a world that has depth and richness and history and lore with it, and yet still bring some fun kind of fish out of water kind of elements to it, because you're bringing in characters from a completely different setting, a completely different world. And for me, this is just my personal opinion, but that works better than someone being from this world, like from the D&D world, who's acting and behaving and looking and talking like someone from our world, right? That's what I think takes so many people out of these fantasy and science fiction stories, when everyone looks too much like our world. It's because it's not our world. It should look different. It should feel different. The languages should be different. The accents should be different. Everything should be different because it's otherworldly, right? So this is just kind of, so with this picture of these characters kind of dropping in here, it just kind of got my brain thinking this morning over my coffee that, man, if they would do something like that, make a rich fantasy story based in the Forgotten Realms, or, you know, things like that, one of the fantasy worlds of D&D, not Dragonland, stay away from that one. That one's got to be serious and well done. But you take one of these realms, but then you bring in a group of people, group of friends, family members, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, from our world now, and drop them into this very serious world and watch them having to navigate it. It could be fun, it could be serious, it could have some drama, some romance, some tension. And I think, man, that would just be a great formula for a way to kind of bring these two worlds together, instead of the trying to make it look serious, but then having these people who look and talk and act like us, and they just feel like it just doesn't fit and it comes across as campy. So first and foremost, do you think this picture is real? Would love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And what do you think about my idea about using this concept of the Saturday morning cartoon to bring that into a live action movie? Put that in the comment section below as well. And again, really appreciate you being a part of my Geek Corner community. It really means a lot to me. And until the next video, God bless you, and we'll talk to you again real soon.